Hey, everybody. Can you all hear me? Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Are you guys able to hear me loud and clear? Yes, no? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Just want to make sure you guys hear me. Is the sound clear? Perfect. Okay. I just want to make sure you guys are hearing me loud and clear. Some of the complaints I get all the time is that it's not clear or crisp enough or whatever the case may be. Okay. So I'm trying to make a better effort to simply give you more quality content. I haven't had the chance, if I'm being honest, as of late, to put out more videos other than shorts. If you have not seen my short videos, I encourage you to look at my short videos and always hit that like button. It helps to promote the channel, okay? As I continue through this journey, sometimes I struggle trying to come up with content that keeps you all engaged, okay? But I want to say first and foremost, happy Father's Day to all of you. It's Father's Day here in the US. So if you're watching around the globe, happy Father's Day. And I hope you have had a wonderful day. Today's video will be about answering some of your questions, of course, which, by the way, I do appreciate if you make a donation to the channel. It helps a lot. Okay. I will make sure I prioritize your questions when you make a donation to my channel. Okay. You can do that quickly on the screen. There is a dollar sign. You can actually hit that and you can make your donation that way. So it's very simple to do if you have any interest, okay, in doing this. You don't have to. I'm just saying in case you don't have a lot of time and you are simply looking to get a couple of your questions answered by me, that's the easiest way and the fastest way to get me to answer your questions right away so that you don't have to be waiting around. Okay. So, anyway, I want to start first by letting you all know that I have a brand new DAC arriving next week. Okay. The area surround Cassandra DAC is no longer with me. I may make a video about it. I don't know yet, but it's no longer with me. Okay. It went back to the person that it came from. And so since then, I have decided to go in a different direction. So I will have a brand new DAC by Friday of next week. Friday of next week, I should have my brand new DAC. I expect this DAC to be the DAC that I will continue my journey with for the next at least 6 months of this year. Okay. As you know, my MSB Select 2 is no longer with me. Okay, so that's a decision that I made on purpose because I wanted to have the opportunity to bring something different, something fresh. You all follow a lot of different YouTubers, different topics, different industries. For instance, car YouTubers, car reviewers. Okay, no car reviewer on YouTube stays with the same car long enough because it gets boring. I felt I had nothing else to prove with the Select 2 DAC from MSB. It's still the best DAC I have ever owned. Period. Best DAC that I have had my hands on. Okay, and so far that hasn't changed. I simply made a business move and also I had an opportunity to switch gears into something that's fresh, that's making a lot of noise in the industry. And I think a lot of you will be very, very interested in what this next DAC will be. Okay. So just wanted to make sure that you all understood as to why the MSB Select 2 is no longer with me. It's still my best DAC to date. Happy Father's Day to you all. Do me a favor, hit that like button, okay? Let's get some people to join us. Hopefully, we can get a nice crowd going. I am going to spend approximately 1 hour with you all, and then after that, I have to head out the door and have lunch with my family in celebration of this special day. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's see what questions you have. Again, if you're interested in getting your questions answered right away, make a donation. Your question will be highlighted on the screen for everyone else to read. I will make sure that I go through as many questions as possible. I appreciate the support once again. Thank you so much for being behind my journey and my cause and what I'm about. Any plans of getting the Gryphon Apex? Yes, that is in the works. I did end up getting the Gryphon Antillean Evo, and the reason for that, even though I've already had the Antillean Evo, is simply to I want to hear what the Antillean does with the XVXs. If I'm being honest, I want to see what Gryphon sounds like. I know the Antillean is not their best amplifier. I am aware of that, but I wanted to change it up. Plus, I wanted to have an opportunity to hear my DarTZeel preamplifier with the Gryphon. Okay, I wanted to see if there's any synergy there, and I believe there's definitely synergy, even with Gryphon. So this DarTZeel preamplifier is starting to shock me. Okay, it sounds quite phenomenal with the Boulder, okay, Boulder monos, and it's sounding phenomenal also with the Gryphon Antillean Evo. Okay, so I'm starting to like what this DarTZeel preamplifier is doing. It seems like it's quite compatible with a lot of different amplifiers, but it is not cheap. At $74,000, that is one expensive preamplifier. It's actually more money than the 2110 preamplifier from Boulder. So Cassandra left. You will probably know why it left when I release a video that will be on my members only section of my website, jaysaudiolab.com. Okay, there is always going to be exclusive content for that section, for that members section. Okay, if you are in the middle of making a decision about your next DAC, if you're really confused, if you're interested in knowing my take on the area Syrah that I had here, and you need this answer right away, I urge you to go to my website, become a member. I am going to be dropping a video there first, and then I'll make a decision if I want to release it on YouTube. Okay, full transparency so that you are aligned with how this works. I cannot, just like many other YouTubers, okay, and I won't say names, I'm not going to mention anybody. There are things that are better left unsaid in social media, meaning YouTube. There are things that you simply shouldn't say. When you open your mouth a bit too much, sometimes it can close doors. It can make it very difficult for you as a YouTuber if you're trying to grow within this line of work. So some things are better left for a specific group or a membership of some sort. I'll give you an example. I follow a YouTuber. This guy films people who live on the streets, who have no home, right? And I follow him because I find those interviews with homeless people quite interesting. And he recently released a video of a very hard video, very harsh with what was going on in the interview, and his channel got flagged, right? So he made a video about how he needs to have a separate section for videos that are too difficult for the general audiences. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is there are videos that also have to do with audio that are probably not good to put out for the general public. Okay, because to be sincere, there are too many narratives out there created on forums that is just simply false information. Okay, so I have to be very diligent. I still have to stay true to myself and be objective, but there are things that I simply have to keep a little closer to me. Okay, so if you're wanting to know more information, perhaps about something that I haven't spoken about, this is what's cool about my members only section on my website. You can get closer to me, and maybe I can articulate whatever it is that you're concerned about, whatever it is that you want me to talk about. I can do that. I just sometimes cannot do it publicly. It's not good for my brand. It's not good for what I'm trying to do. And you all, I'm sure many of you all have businesses. You know what I'm talking about. You can relate. This is applicable across many different industries. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay. Mr. Okay, why didn't I comment on the Pilium amplifier in the magical room in Munich? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, I saw that room briefly. I wasn't quite interested in staying in that room very long. I have been very open about the fact that I have already in the past reached out to the distributor of the Pillion brand in the United States and I've had zero support. So I ask you all, why should I give airtime to anyone who is not facilitating things for me? I'm not asking things to be free. Let me rephrase that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you are a brand right now, if you, all of you watching me, if you have a product that you want me to review, let's just say you have a brand new product that needs a lot of traction in the United States, right? And you know I'm the only guy because I am the only guy doing the ultra high end, right? So let's say I reach out to you and I say, hey, I've heard about this product that you represent, it's making a lot of noise. I'd love to bring it in for a private evaluation. Now you have two choices as a brand, is to say, go away, Jay. I'm not interested in you. No problem. That's your right. Or sure, certainly. Let me see what I can do. Let me see how I can turn some wrenches and see if I can just ship you this product at some point and we can make this happen, because I would love for you to have it in there and at least give it a shot, even if it's a private evaluation. I'm okay with that. Those are the two choices as a brand. But if you're choosing the first one, which is I have basically kind of like not telling me straight up that they're not interested, but just giving me excuses, at that point, I get it, okay? There are ways of telling someone I'm not interested. There are ways by, for instance, not answering phone calls, or saying that you don't have any product, or saying that you don't know when you're going to have any product. So when you get that type of response, I get the point. They're essentially telling me we don't really want the product that you're on your channel. And that's okay. It's okay. But at that point, I have no reason to highlight anything that has to do with this product. Again, full transparency. Full transparency. I'm being blunt and honest, looking at the camera. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have no reason to give airtime when I have been knocking to try to evaluate a product, and you haven't helped me with how I explained 2 minutes ago. So at that point, I just turn the page. Anytime I see that product, I don't care to look at it. I move on. Now, am I unfair? I don't think I'm being unfair. I think it's a fair thing to do. So, Todd, here's the thing, okay? And I always say this to brands in general. If Jay's Audio Lab does not matter, I am 100% okay with that, because that's why we have so many different YouTubers. Select the one that really connects with you and follow that person. I'm okay with that. But if I don't matter to you and you're a brand, that's okay. But then it shouldn't matter when I say something that I feel your product is lacking in the event that I end up buying it. It shouldn't make you upset. You should be more like, it's Jay, it doesn't matter. We don't care. It's fine. But the fact is that that's quite the opposite. I don't matter, but if I say something negative, all of a sudden I matter. Which one is it? Do I matter or do I not matter? Can't be both. So if I don't matter, don't be upset when I bring a product and I simply say, this product for the money is absolutely a scam or not good, because here are two other products that I've had that are the same price point and are better. Don't be mad because you're saying I don't matter to you. So it shouldn't really make you upset. That's all I'm saying, right? So brands sometimes need to make up their mind. If Jay's Audio Lab does not matter, cool. I am all right with that. But don't be upset or mad at me because I ended up comparing your product and decided that there is a better option at a particular price point. Don't be upset. I don't matter to you. You shouldn't be upset. Yes, I agree with the sound of the system right now. It is quite different. I agree 100%. It is a different sound. The DarTZeel preamp is doing some incredible, nice things. It's adding a little more of this musical feeling. It's a lot more mellow. Excuse me. But I am very close actually to pulling my 3010 off the shelf and putting it back in the mix, and we can evaluate the system now with the $80,000 transparent magnum opus cables that I have not spoken about yet, and I will. Just give me some time. I got so many things going on, okay, and I got to be strategic about my content. All right, so I will, but I agree. The system is definitely sounding quite good. Alex, I just have not gotten into open baffle, to be honest with you, Alex. I haven't had the desire. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's no good. I'm not saying you all shouldn't do that. I just simply have not had any reason to go in that direction. I've had great loudspeakers from a lot of well-known brands, and so I just haven't gotten around to it, if I'm being sincere. Guy, yeah, there might be an opportunity to bring AccuFace into the lab at some point. I just need to figure out what component that is, what amplifier that might be, and if I even feel there might be synergy with my current line of loudspeakers. As you all know, I have a pair of Magical M3s that are currently listed for sale, and I also have my XVXs, which is a perfect segue to my next point. And I want you all to vote right now and tell me the following. Many of you have been asking me to keep the XVX Chronosonic. A lot of people have emailed me, actually, if you must know. A lot of people make comments saying, Jay, don't sell the XVXs, don't sell the NVXs, don't sell the XVXs, okay? And so I've gotten to a point in which I'm going to rely on, first of all, this crowd that's right now, 42 of you that are watching me, okay? I want to ask you all your opinion. You're not wrong or right. I just want to read your opinion right now with this. What would you do? Would you sell your my Chronosonic XVX, keep my Boulder 3000 series amps and preamplifier, and let's say buy a more affordable speaker. Let's say a speaker that's under 100K MSRP, whatever brand that is. Okay, we're not going to go into brands. Would you do that? Or would you rather say, you know what, keep the XVXs and sell your Boulder 3000 series and just bring your Boulder 2160, which I own. You guys haven't seen it, but I own a 2160. Bring your 2160 and use that with a good preamplifier instead. I ask you all, what would you do? Keep the expensive Boulder 3000 series, sacrifice the XVX, and get a more affordable speaker from whatever brand it is, or say, no, screw that, Jay, keep the XVXs and just get quality electronics like a Boulder 2160, which I own, and a great line stage like maybe the DarTZeel that's here, and to us, that would be better. What would be better for you? Tell me right now in the comment section what you all do. Let me see what you guys think. I want to see what your train of thought is. Let me read your comments right now. Okay, I got one for keep the Boulder. Keep the Boulder monos, 2. Okay, let me see. Do me a favor, hit that like button, folks. What you think about this? It's a very difficult question. I know it is. So if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Would you keep the expensive speaker that arguably is the best speaker I've had, and then just kind of like get electronics that are still good, just not at the level of the 3000 series, or flip it and sell the XVXs, keep the expensive electronics, and just get a more affordable speaker? I want to know from you all. Yeah, my XVXs are still on casters. There might be an opportunity at some point to have Wilson in here. I don't want to speak too soon. Okay, they haven't committed to this, but we are in talks. Wilson might make an appearance in here and actually set up my XVXs. Again, not saying that will happen. It's not 100%. I might be jumping the gun by saying this, but there is that potential possibility. There's that possibility that they may come in and set them up. Yeah, some people say the same thing, with the Wilsons. I mean, I can see that. I mean, you know, um, the speakers. Okay, here's some of the questions. I understand that. I agree with you, Todd. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. With you, with what you are saying here. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean that's I'm not gonna lie, the XVX is a very difficult speaker to come by. I am not going to lie. It's a very, very difficult speaker to show up. Okay. It's not a speaker that you're gonna find anywhere, like randomly, like the way you find a Sasha or an Alexia or even the Alex. I do not see XVXs on sale on the used market anytime soon. It's an end game speaker for a lot of people. This right here, trying to beat the XVX with a surprise speaker, it's going to be a tough one, mister. The XVX to me is one of the most special loudspeaker I've had the pleasure of owning. I have to tell you, the XVX, it's just next level when it comes to the sound. And even on casters, the way they are right now, I have to be honest, it's really a special speaker. Okay, absolutely one of the greatest loudspeakers I've had the pleasure of owning. So you're asking for an affordable speaker to top this speaker. You got to be honest, I just don't think that's feasible right now. How much better is Magnum Opus than Opus? I'll make a video about that. Let me tell you, I'll make a video. There's a $40,000 price difference between the Magnum Opus speaker cables and the Opus speaker cables. Okay, I will make a video about this, but I'm gonna tell you the Magnum Opus is, it's no joke. It's no joke. Yeah, I would love to hear Martin speakers as well, Darren. I mean, there's no question about it. My only concern is, Martin being a very unknown brand in the United States, doesn't have a lot of traction. Zellaton as well. I would love to try a Zellaton speaker at some point. But I'll be honest with you, I gotta hear those speakers one more time before I decide to pull the trigger, if at all, if I'm ever gonna do that. Okay, because those are very obscure brands. Okay, these are not brands that you're gonna um, be able to connect with other people about. Basically, you're not going to have a lot of people that are going to be texting you about Zellaton and what they did to set them up correctly and what amplification they're using, because there's not many of them here. And same thing with Martin. There's not going to be a lot of other folks that you can talk to about these two loudspeaker brands. It's just a very difficult speaker to own if you're playing alone. That's the truth. At least I know one person that has XVXs, and him and I text, on and off. So at least I know what someone else is doing with XVXs. But the Martin loudspeakers and the Zellaton, yeah, you're playing by yourself. Playing by yourself. My transparent Magnum Opus are Generation 5. Generation 5. Okay, hit that like button, guys. Do me that favor, please. Hit that like button now so that we can call on more people and we can continue to do this in this beautiful Sunday. Okay, just hit that like button. The music server is phenomenal. The music server, the Takeo Extreme music server, which I represent, by the way, is a phenomenal component. Phenomenal music server. Um, I know a lot of you are always going to be critical of spending this kind of dough on a computer, basically, right? 34K is a lot of money. I get it. But I just say to you one thing, okay? I want to say one thing to you all. It's one thing you have to keep in mind. You're here for the show. I've always been very honest about me doing the ultra high end, which is something that, as far as I know, no other YouTuber is doing at the level that I am playing. Okay, so occasionally I'll do the affordable stuff. But what you have to keep in mind is that when I spend the money, I would love for you to just sit back and relax. Let me do what I do. You can decide if perhaps this expensive component, whatever that may be, is for you or is not for you, or maybe it doesn't fit your budget. Sometimes I see a lot of hate. Um, posting comments saying that it's ridiculous that this is so much money and I'm this and I'm an idiot and I'm this and I'm that. But I always say, hey, but don't be mad at me. Like, I'm the messenger. I am spending my own money. You're not spending a dime. So why hate? Just sit back and maybe you can go and say, wow, did you see the ridiculousness that brand X has? They have a $300,000 power cord. I can't believe how stupid this has become. That's fine. You can have that conversation, but attacking the messenger, me, doesn't really doesn't do anything positive for what I'm trying to do. If anything, it makes me feel like maybe I shouldn't continue to explore all these available options that we have in front of us and new things that are coming out, because I fear that I'm going to be attacked, when in reality you all are not spending any money. You're not spending a dime, nothing out of your pocket. So why hate on me? Let me be the idiot to spend the money and hear me talk about it. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, I did not listen to the Bugatti speakers, Patrick. What's my opinion on DarTZeel? So far, DarTZeel has been extremely good. The preamplifier seems to be very special. I am not going to lie. The DarTZeel preamplifier has something going on for it that really makes you scratch your head. Okay, there's some sort of magic, some sort of voodoo that this thing does that allows you to sit and listen to music for long, long periods of time. However, if I am going to say something that might be a small criticism, is the fact that it does not have the level of resolution, neutrality, and perhaps speed that my Boulder 3010 has. Okay, it doesn't do that. So there you have it. If you want to know what it doesn't do, it doesn't come close to that immediacy of my 3010, the devastating sound stage and just this feeling, this grip on the woofers that the 3010 has. It doesn't do it, but I don't think it's trying to. I think this is done on purpose because they're shooting for more musicality. They're kind of trying to smooth out a lot of the leading edges. I'm not saying it sounds rolled off or anything like that, but they're trying to make it sound so that you can sit in your chair for hours, still make it pleasant, still give you detail, but not like MRI detail, like an X-ray machine detail, like the Boulder 3010. If you're looking for the ultimate when it comes to resolution, if you're looking for the end be all, in my opinion, when it comes to transparency, when it comes to this give me nothing but the facts mentality, if you want to be there, I just feel that the 3010 takes you there. The problem is that people are always very critical of a preamplifier like the 3010 because they sometimes say it's too analytical, it's too much of this, it's too much of that. But the preamplifier is just a wire with a gain. It's really just bringing you the signal, the incoming signal in and out to your amplifiers. It's not adding anything. So if anything, we could have a conversation about maybe the source being the problem. Maybe your source is too analytical. Maybe you should look for a much more sweeter sounding source, perhaps a lampensator, perhaps area Sarat, perhaps something with tubes in the mix. So you have to keep in mind that the preamp is just staying out of the way as much as possible. The problem is that when we compare preamplifiers like the DarTZeel that I have here and the Boulder 3010, when you hear the DarTZeel, of course, you're going to hear this beautiful harmonic sound in a lot of colors. And so your ears are going to get attracted to that until you realize that when you put the 3010 back in the mix, then you hear even that much deeper into the music. You hear even so much more information. So it's up to you and what you're trying to do with your system, what determines which preamplifier is the better one. Okay. I love this comment. I love this comment right here. This is a great comment, by the way. I really like this comment. Hate is just misplaced admiration. I will remember that comment, guy. Thank you for that. Actually, I got to make note of this. This is a great, great comment. So I'm going to take the time right now to tell you about my upcoming trip to Boulder, Colorado. I will be visiting the Boulder factory. I believe it's Friday, June 30th. In about 12 days. Let me see. I'm going to look at the Yep, Friday, June 30th. I will be, in less than 2 weeks, I will be at the Boulder factory doing a factory tour. Okay, never been done before. I plan to do something like what I did for a lone wolf at the Magical Factory. You are all going to be in for a treat. I am taking down a lot. I'm writing down a lot of questions. I want to see how they build these massive transformers for the 3000 series Boulder amplifiers. I want to see the chassis. I want to see where they have the CNC machines. I want to see just the beginning of an amplifier, how it's born all the way until it gets to the listening room that they have. They have 2 listening rooms, so stay tuned so you know what 2 pairs of speakers Boulder uses in their facility. They use Focal, but they also have another speaker that you do not know of. I will make sure that I show you both listening rooms when I'm there. So I plan to do a very, very nice factory tour of Boulder because I've owned Boulder for some time, and I think it was just time, right? We were waiting on the stars to align, and finally I will be there next week. So I'm quite excited. I'm gonna make sure I do 4K video. It's gonna be very, very clear and crisp. I am thinking about every single angle of this factory tour. I want to make sure I hit one out of the park, make sure it has um, the right production value, because you all, I'm sure, want to know how these big Boulder monos and even their small amplifiers are built. What does that facility look like? It's very obscure information right now, but I'm planning to remove that veil, that blanket, and put it front and center for the whole world to see. I will never be able to do a comparison between my Wilsons and Focal Utopia. That's something that I can't embark on. First of all, I don't have space for 2 large speakers. What I do have is a nice comparison of my time with Wilson Audio and Focal and Magical on my website. Okay, so if you're interested in my take on those 3 brands, Wilson, Magical, and Focal, and what I think about each speaker and how do they compare, I urge you to become a member of my website so that you can. I have like 4 videos, I believe, there where I speak greatly about all 3 brands and what's different about each loudspeaker brand, what each one does that the other one does not do. Very educational, highly, highly recommended. There you go. Well, Brian, you'll get to see it. Boulder and I are ready to roll. I am going to be sending them the questions hopefully this week. And of course, I plan to have a script of what I'm visualizing. Where do we start? What stations do we showcase? Uh, a lot of Q&A. I want to interview Jeff, who I know Jeff is a person that's very reserved, very to himself. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, but I begged him to, hey, let me do a couple of, let's answer a couple of questions for the audience, right? So he's going to be a little nervous. I get it. This is not for everyone, but I think it's long overdue. And I think that the factory needs to be highlighted. I think that he needs to speak because we all want to know who's the man behind, the brains behind Boulder Electronics, right? Who's the main guy? And I think having Jeff on camera is going to be really good for everyone so that you can hear the brain behind this incredible engineering, these incredible electronics. What are my thoughts about the Gryphon loudspeakers? To be honest with you, I've heard them several times. I think they're great speakers. I like the tweeter they use. I think that's an AMT tweeter. It's an AMT tweeter. I love the sound. I think it's a great loudspeaker. To be honest with you, I just never brought it because I felt like if I bring Gryphon loudspeakers, I am essentially stuck with Gryphon electronics for maximum synergy. So that's one of the reasons why I never bought a Gryphon, a loudspeaker. If you must know, is because of that. Because I don't want to buy something that is built around an ecosystem, right? I don't want to do that. That's another reason why I didn't want to do MBLs. because I don't want to have to buy MBL electronics, big heavy amplifiers. And so for me, there has to be some flexibility with a speaker, with something that I buy. I want to have a speaker like Wilson, like Magical, like Focal, like I'm sure Ron Stryker too, that give me some flexibility, that allow me to play with different amplifiers and preamplifiers and sources. Okay, I'm not saying you cannot do this with Gryphon loudspeakers, but I just have not seen it done. I've only seen Gryphon loudspeakers with Gryphon gear, and I can't be just Gryphon here, okay? Because I look like a Gryphon dealer, which I'm not. Can you hit that like button, guys? Please hit that like button, subscribe, help the channel out. Okay, let's make this video very informational, bring more people on here. 36 minutes into this live stream. I would appreciate if you hit that like button now. Yes, I plan to bring the Gryphon Apex. I do not know when that will be. Okay, I do plan to bring it. Okay, yes, definitely. Probably at the end of the year. Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking about when it comes to the Gryphon Apex. Okay, that's more or less what I'm thinking about. For the time being, I am not in position financially to invest that kind of money on a Gryphon amplifier. That's why I'm saying to you, and you all didn't even respond that well, to be honest. If I keep the XVXs, I can sell my Boulder 3000 series, for instance, and bring probably quality amplification and preamplification still, but not at that level, right? Not at that crazy extreme price point. So that's kind of going around my head, is if I should indeed do that, or maybe sell the XVXs and buy, more affordable speakers and maintain my incredible amplification and preamplification. I don't know yet. I do believe that a Boulder 2160, by the way, should sound phenomenal with my XVXs. If I have the right preamplifier and, of course, the right source, I have no reason, or no doubt, I should say, to believe that my 2160 will not be enough for my XVXs. I think the 2160 would be more than enough for my XVXs. 600 watts per channel class A. I just don't see it not being enough. Will it be as good as a 3050 monos? Probably not. Okay. But I do believe that a lot of performance would still be here. Roberto, I don't have any plan right now, Roberto, to bring any Wadax. To be honest with you, I don't think I'll ever be bringing Wadax into the lab, Roberto. It is entirely too expensive. I do not feel like spending, 200 grand or whatever it is that the MSRP is today. I just don't think that that type of gear is something that I would have an easy time selling when I'm done with it. Okay. Because yes, everything that I bring in here and I review has to go. I can't keep a pile of equipment here depreciating in my hands. I have to sell everything I buy. And even if I were to buy that, we're talking easy 6 figures. Even in the used market, the Wadax is going to be easy 6 figures. That's not an easy sale for anyone. And I have to always think about my exit plan. When I bring a component, I have to think about, when I'm done with it and that day comes for everything, do I see myself being able to sell it and move on? And I just don't think that digital at that price point is quite easy to sell once you're done with it and you want to do something different with your system. This is one of the biggest reasons why I just don't see myself doing Wadax. Being very honest, very sincere with you. The Diablo 333, you mean? I haven't heard the Diablo 333, so I can't speak about the Diablo 333. I do love the Boulder 866 with the Wilson Audio Sasha and my Strong Tank. To me, that was one of the most shocking revelations, one of the most affordable systems I've had, and one of the most spectacular presentations I've ever had in the lab. My cable lines with the 866 Boulder, my stand, the Artisania audio stand, a Strong Tank, and a Wilson Audio Sasha gave me a performance that, to be sincere with you, it made me think about selling everything else. It was that special what I heard in here. I already talked about this, about my transparent $80,000 cables. Make sure you circle back to the beginning and of the video. Okay, so if you have $80,000 questions about this $80,000 speaker cable, I will make a video. I know people want to know. I know people want to know. Okay, and to be sincere, yeah, it is a lot of money. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll give you all some information. It's a lot of money. It's 80 grand. It's not for the faint of heart. I did speak to Transparent. Okay, I did talk to Transparent about it. I will go over later on a later video about what I said to them. But here's what happened essentially. Okay, Transparent is not going to recommend that cable for a system that's 100 grand MSRP. Okay, they're not going to, flat out. They told me, why would we tell a customer, yeah, buy the Magnum Opus for 80K, even though you only have Wilson Audio Sasha DAWs, which are $42,000? Doesn't make any sense. Wilson Audio, Transparent Audio will never tell you to do that. They're very aware, and the reason for that is because they're afraid that although the cables do deliver, they're afraid that the system at that point might be the bottleneck. Okay, meaning you have a subpar source, you have good speakers, but not XVX level speakers or Magical XM6 speakers, and so their feelings are, when we put these cables in a in a system that's far less revealing, what happens is that customer may feel like it wasn't worth the jump to go from the Opus to the Magnum Opus, right? It's a $40,000 jump. But the reality is, it's not the cables, it's really the system that now is the limiting factor. And so they are very aware that whenever they make a sale, they look at the system as a whole. What's your system? What does it have? Give us your speakers, give us your amps, give us your preamp. You know what? Based on what you told us, we feel you should be here when it comes to cables. Okay, you shouldn't be doing the ultra revealing cables that we have, because maybe your system is just not there yet. Okay, and I like that. I really had a lot of respect for that. I thought it was a great way of evaluating a person's an audiophile's system and recommend what should go with each system. The thing is, $80,000 cables have a place with my current system. That's the truth. Okay, who buys an $80,000 speaker cable? Well, someone who has Wilson Audio Chronosonic. That's the buyer. Someone who has Magical M6. That's the buyer. Someone who has DarTZeel. Someone who has Boulder, big Boulder monos, big Gryphon Apex. Those are the buyers of $80,000 cables. It's not the guy who buys, I don't want to say average speakers, because it's still quality and it's still a great loudspeaker, but it's not the guy who has a speaker that is 50K MSRP or under. It's not. I wouldn't even advise for someone who has a speaker like that to embark on buying $50,000 speaker cables or $80,000 speaker cables. I wouldn't, because you're going to waste your money. Remember, $40,000 Opus are here. $80,000 Magnum Opus are here. It's twice the money. Okay, is it twice the performance? Do you want to know right now? Since you're watching me, I'm going to tell you, it is an absolutely amazing improvement over the Opus that I had here. However, it is significantly more money. And most folks who have $40,000 loudspeakers, $20,000 DAC, and a $20,000 preamplifier, oftentimes don't have the budget to buy an $80,000 loudspeaker cable. They don't. Okay, so I would say, and I wouldn't recommend it either. I would not recommend Magnum Opus for a system that is not at the level of mine or with electronics like mine. My initial impressions, John, will soon come about the Takeo Extreme with the network switch. Okay, next week you'll get my impressions on this. David, yeah, I heard about the Wilson Audio Sasha V's coming out over the next few days. I expect that speaker to be a phenomenal speaker. I mean, look, I expect for that speaker to be probably the most sold loudspeaker in 2023. I expect that to be the Sasha V. I expect to be impressed, because I was very impressed with the Sasha DAW. If I'm being honest with you, the Sasha DAW has been that speaker that I sat with on multiple occasions. I've owned it more than once, and I was always impressed with what that speaker is capable of, assuming you have the right electronics and cables. That speaker is just a lot of bang for the buck. So I am very curious to see how the V elevates what the Sasha already does. Okay, so We'll see. Yeah, the new power amp from Sim Audio, the 861. I requested a sample from Sim Audio. We are in conversations. I do want to try that 861. Rumor has it, this hasn't been publicly acknowledged, okay? But rumor has it that the 861 Sim Audio amp, which is their new technology, their new design, okay, is actually a superior amplifier, to even above their triple eight monos. Because I had a brief conversation with Sim Audio and they didn't really quite say yes, but the look on their face was, if you hear the 861 monos in mono mode, you probably will not want to buy the triple eights. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. So, and it's only a $22,000 amp. You can, flip the switch and turn it into a mono amplifier. Buy two, that's 42 grand. You're still only a third of the way, because the 888s are 120, 122K. So be very impressed to hear those amplifiers. I am definitely interested in those Sim Audio. I already talked about the area Surround DAC. Please refer to the beginning part of this video. If you're just getting here, please hit that like button. Hit that like button. Let's call in more people, okay? Let's see if we can get more individuals here. Yeah, there were actually the avant-garde horns that I saw there really impressed me. They were very musical sounding. They were like orange, I think. The horn part was orange. I loved them. I thought those avant-garde loudspeakers sounded phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. I really did like it. I really did enjoy the presentation with those speakers. Unfortunately, I just cannot commit to doing horns because that means I have to get rid of a lot of my amplification. Horns are very efficient. You need to have the right amplification. And so I just don't really, and it's too big in here in my room. I need a speaker that's relatively slim, that's not too big, like that doesn't have a lot of width, because it blocks my screen. And I definitely need to watch movies here with my daughter and wife at times. So I need speakers that are just more like slender, okay? Typically, that's the speaker that I go for. Yeah, Darren, I'm going to compare the Puritan Labs power cord against. I have about two other power cords. I have my own power cord from my cable line. I have the Nordust Odin one in here still. I have a transparent Opus as well. And so, yeah, I expect to see. I'm probably going to use it on the source, on the DAC, and see what kind of results we get. But yeah, that's going to happen. Okay, so stay tuned. People love conversations revolving around cables. I get the most views when it's a conversation that has to do with cables. Okay. Don't know why, but you all are nuts about cables because I believe it's a huge topic, where you have two different views. One is a total cable believer, and the other, which is a non-cable believer. They believe we're crazy by thinking that cables make a difference. I personally believe in cables. I absolutely believe 100% in cables. I'm also thinking about doing this. I was thinking about it, and maybe I can actually have my wife be part of a blind comparison. She's not an audiophile, okay? So I'm thinking about putting the wife in here in the room, blindfolding her, literally, changing cables, and letting her tell us what she hears, if she hears a difference or does not hear a difference. And if she hears a difference, of course, tell the audience what she heard. Now, keep in mind, she's not an audiophile, so she's not going to talk with audiophile terms. So I am probably going to be doing that. I am going to blindfold her and let her hear the system twice, several songs, whatever she wants to hear. I'm not going to choose audiophile songs. I'm going to let her play whatever she wants to play and then interview her and ask her, what did you hear? Did you hear any difference? Tell us. So I may do that. Again, she's not an audiophile. So maybe that's something that you all might find interesting. TAD reference or Steinheim speakers, it depends on the application. I think both are phenomenal designs. Both of them are phenomenal speakers, Hector. It's really difficult to choose. Depends on the model, depends on the room, depends on the electronics, and what you're trying to achieve. That's why I tell you, consider my consultation service. Talk to me. If you're looking to spend this kind of money, it is the best money you'll spend. Okay. I know some of you love to be your own cooks in the kitchen. I get it. I have been there. Okay, I understand it. But to me, if you're looking to spend this level, this kind of money on a loudspeaker or amplifiers, if you're looking to write that check for 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand, just do a consultation with me for an hour. Okay, if I have owned it, it's the best money you'll spend, because if you buy that component for 20, 30, 40 grand, whatever that may be, and you've seen it on my channel, okay, if you buy it because you refuse to pay for a consultation, that's your right, no problem. But if you hate it, now you got to sell it back, and you're going to lose a hell of a lot more money than what you would have paid me for my consultation. This is what does not make any sense. You're looking to spend so much money, and you don't talk to someone who's done it, who has had it, who I don't have anything to sell you, because if you're calling me for a speaker and you have your mind made up with 3 options or 2 options, my job is to narrow it down and tell you what this one will do that this other one will not do. Find out what kind of music is it that you listen to, find out your room, find out the levels, your decibel levels, like how loud do you play your music. There are many questions that I ask you in order to form an opinion and give you my own biased opinion as far as what I think might be the better component for your particular needs based on the options that you bring to me. So when you come to me, you bring me, Jay, I've already narrowed it down to these 5 brands, 5 or 10 brands. I'm confused. Dealer says this one, this other dealer says that one. I am ready to write the check, but I'm afraid. Just shoot me an email. Let's do a consultation. Don't do this to yourself. Why are you going to end up doing what I do? Do you realize how much work this is? This is too much money. You're not going to do what I do. You want to enjoy and get to the end of the road with your system and be done, which is not what I'm trying to do, clearly. So always think about that, okay? That's great. That means you have a very revealing system if you're hearing changes. Okay, when you're hearing changes like that, that just means you have a very revealing system. Yeah, I recommend Acoustics. That's if you check out my website, you can find more about Acoustics. Okay, I provide a service. I'm working with several people right now that are in need of treating their rooms, and they do not know where to start. So if you connect with me, if you send me an email, we can do all of this together, and we can put together a plan to treat your room. Okay, and speaking of that, I will be doing that soon with my own room. So stay tuned for that. So yes, if you're looking for acoustic treatments, but you really had no clue how to dress up your room, I got a plan for you. Email me. Believe me, I got a plan. We'll do it together. We'll be able to, map it out and figure out what your room looks like right now, 3D image of your room right now, and then after, once it's treated, what it looks like with all the treatments in place. If you do not know about this, now you know. Email me. Email me, please. Awesome. I'm glad. Thank you for that support. Hit that like button, folks. Please hit that like button. Show that support on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hit that like button so we can get more views, more people to click on this video. It's very important to me. I don't have any opinion on Burmeister amplification. All I know, it's a very soft sounding amplifier, never bright, easy to listen to for hours on end. It's German. It looks beautiful. It looks well constructed. That's all I know about that. I don't remember if I heard these. I actually did see them, but I didn't pay attention to them. To be honest with you, I did not spend the time with this loudspeaker brand from France, so I couldn't. Von Stryker is definitely a musical speaker, but keep in mind also, okay, Von Stryker is oftentimes partnered with VAC, the Valve Audio Company from Florida, okay, and they are tubes, so it makes sense that they would sound musical. So always keep that in mind when you see VAC. It's always with Von Stryker, so this makes sense why Von Stryker always sounds musical. I haven't had the pleasure of hearing Von Stryker with any other brand that hasn't been VAC. I would love to hear it with Gryphon. I would love to hear it with Boulder. I would love to hear it with um, Macintosh. Who knows? I want to hear it with different brands. So that's the only thing that I always wonder. Okay, when I see a lot of loudspeakers out and I don't see different brands that are partnering with those speakers. To me, that makes me kind of pump the brakes and it makes me wonder why is it that they're always showing with this brand or this amp or that? Why not mix it up a bit? I understand sometimes brands have some sort of a agreement, a pact, if you will, where they share the room costs, right? They split the cost of the room to display together. I get that, but I also do think it's a disservice to the loudspeaker brand to keep showcasing the same amplification with this over and over and over again. Okay, because it leads nowhere. It makes someone who wants to buy a certain speaker question, hey, I like what I heard, but I'm not willing to give up my electronics. How does that speaker sound with my electronics, right? This is why it is important to always showcase products at all times with different lines of amplifiers and preamplifiers so that the general public can have an idea how good this speaker or component is in different environments. Any comments on DCS or versus MSB? Listen, both of them are some of the top, probably top, arguably top three, top four DACs. DAC digital device, digital audio component manufacturer, if you will. They are. I mean, they are recognized around the globe. I mean, they are playing with the elite group of DACs right there, digital devices. So I would say, how different are they? I haven't heard the Apex, so I can't really critique DCS right now and what their current state is as far as the sound, as far as what they do. But if I go by what I had, I would say DCS definitely has a lot of resolution, a ton of detail. But I just personally think that the MSB Select 2 was a superior piece for my own needs, my own different systems. Does that make the DCS brand a bad brand? No, that's not what I'm saying. As I said earlier, I have only heard the former DCS, Vivaldi, and Rossini, not their new Apex version. Okay. But I think once you have DCS or MSB, you're right there. You're right at the top, when it comes to digital sources. Hit that like button, folks. Please hit that like button. Let's get this video to really get out there and reach a lot of people. Good. Joshua, great. If you heard it with Solution, I would love to hear Von Stryker with Solution. I would love to hear that. I want to see what they do together. Maybe at some point I do have an opportunity to hear Von Stryker with different electronics. I hope next time that I visit a show, which should be probably, I'm still deciding if I'm going to end up at the going to Capital Audio this year. But I hope that Von Stryker showcases with something different, another brand. I think it would be great to hear what that speaker can do with solid state. I already know what it does with VAC. I don't need to hear it with VAC anymore. You all know I chose the Von Stryker Ultra 7, the best speaker over in Munich. I do believe that was the best speaker I heard there, the best system, because it's not just a speaker. The best room was that for me. But in the US, to me, they haven't been impressive in the US. I don't really know why that is. Maybe the room, maybe just so many variables, right? When you are in a show environment, that's the truth. Let me see what else. What is that the Yes, for sure, yeah. So another thing that people were asking me is if I went to this California show that we had recently. I didn't go. I didn't go to the Texas show either because of the fact that I have been honest. I have a job. I cannot embark on going to every show. I have to be strategic. I have to handpick shows that make sense. And I typically shoot for the big shows. So Expona, Florida, because Florida is down, it's here in my home state. And Capital Audio tend to be the main shows that I go to. I don't see myself going to any other show in the US simply because of my responsibilities, with my employer. So I can't be, out and about going to shows. Plus, to be honest with you, those shows are still they're very small shows. They're not really big. And for me, part of the logic to get out to a show is to meet the fans, to meet people, and to just get more traction, get a lot more eyeballs on my channel. But with these shows, they're so small that I don't think it's you know the juice is worth the squeeze right now. Not yet, anyway. Does that make sense? I don't think it's worth it right now for the shows. Maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, we're having a different conversation. But for now, I just don't think I'll make it to those shows. Just because, again, I do have a job and I have to stay on top of that and be responsible on that end. So yeah, so I heard about Acora Acoustics displaying with Boulder, and it's supposed to sound phenomenal. I have been very honest with Valerio. Valerio is the guy who owns Acora Acoustics, or maybe he's just part owner. I'm not sure. And I had told him in the past, you need to start showing your loudspeakers with something else besides those back statement amplifiers. And he said to me, "Yeah, we're trying to figure out who do we go with." And I'm glad to hear that they have done an incredible job with Hagel, and they have done an incredible job now with Boulder. I did hear that Boulder and Acora Acoustics sounds phenomenal. So it's great to see these brand new loudspeakers mix it up a bit, because I think it gives people different reference points. It gives people, hey, you know what? I like it. This speaker can play with a lot of different brands, and maybe it will play nice with my own. So definitely something that's very, very nice to see. I'm glad that Acora Acoustics. Also, I'm glad that Acora Acoustics has now taken ownership of audio research. I plan to hopefully interview them at some point so we can talk about what is it that we can expect from this brand new acquisition between Acora Acoustics and audio research. What is it that what are they going to bring to the table? What was the intent? What's the intent? We've never seen a Canadian brand buy an American brand, and not only just an American brand, but an iconic American brand. And I think that's so cool to see. So I hopefully will interview Valerio in the future, and we can talk a little more about what we can expect to see from audio research. Since right now things are quite in the air. We don't really know internally what's going on. We don't know what changes are being made. We don't know if there's actually production happening right now, or what are the lead times, yada yada. You're like the fifth person, Dr. Rocker Videos, that has asked me if I sell Jay's Audio Lab shirts. I don't. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Maybe I should sell. Maybe I should get some Jay's Audio Lab merchandise on my website and sell it, because a lot of people have been asking me about this. And that's great to know that you all would not mind wearing Jay's Audio Lab shirts and supporting, of course, my channel. So you know what? I might end up working on some merchandise that can, hopefully meet your needs. Hopefully, you know, um, help me as well, right, with my own journey and my own channel. Hey, report back, okay, about these YG Acoustic Summits. I want to know what they do. I love the YG Acoustic speakers, by the way, that we had at the show over in Munich. I will be honest here, I messed up. I should have never forgotten to mention YG Acoustics. That was a big mistake on my part. YG Acoustics should have been mentioned. I should have said that they were impressive at the show, and they really were, but I just completely forgot to mention them. So my apologies to YG Acoustics. I should have mentioned you, but I'm glad at least I gave you airtime and we had an interview, a really nice conversation about what you have going on today and your future plans. Okay, those speakers with built-in amplification, I'm really digging that. I am really digging that. I would love to try a speaker that comes with built-in amplification like that. I designed them through Acoustics, which is what I mentioned earlier. Okay, I have a service for this to design room acoustics so that you actually dress up your room the right way. Okay, so there is a service that I provide. If you're interested, email me. Okay, you know how to find my email, or go to my website and submit a ticket, and we can jump on a call and we can talk about what this is about. I know there is a lot of gray areas when it comes to room treatment. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I do know how to get your room properly set up because I partner with Acoustics, and they have an amazing program that helps tremendously and gives you printed 3D images of your room the way it is right now, the way it looks right now, and then what it will look like once they have ran all your room specifications through their own software. And basically the software spits out every panel, everything you need, where it needs to be hung, what part of the wall, how far, and then it tells you right there the frequency response of that room based on the analysis that it can do. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. I'll share that with you at some point so you can see. Oh no, I don't really. That's an interesting one. All I can say is if you want to dress up that room, room acoustics are going to be key, especially in an attic. Okay, so if you have that situation, that special circumstance of having an attic as your audio room, urge you to reach out and maybe we can set something to sometime up to go over the room acoustics and see what we can do. But it can be treated. I know this. It can be treated, but you got to know what you're doing. What? Let me see. What is the trying to hold on, guys? What else? I'm reading through the questions to see if you have anything else that you want to ask me. We have been here for an hour and 10 minutes. I got another 10 minutes to go. Hit that like button, please, so that we can get more eyeballs on this video. Hopefully, next week I got a couple of nice videos to keep you all entertained, to keep the channel going forward. I've been extremely busy, as I mentioned last week, with my 9 to 5 and a lot of responsibilities there. So that sometimes, gets me really tired at the end of the day, and it doesn't give me any bandwidth late at night, which is when I do videos. When I make most of my videos, in case you know, I make most of my videos really late, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, and then I release them throughout the week or sometimes on the weekends. That's when I do a lot of my content. Okay. So, in case you're wondering, that's how I have to structure my day. Thank you for the following me from the Netherlands. Incredible, audio manufacturers coming from your homeland. It's incredible what I see from the Netherlands. The Takeo Extreme Music Server. You got Karma. I believe Karma's from there, and Karma's from there. You got so many different brands coming from the Netherlands. I love what your country builds. Absolutely one of the leading, one of the countries that lead this, the audio industry. So I can definitely look into this if you email me. It seems like I'm getting a lot of questions about room treatment. Okay, so I'm going to say it one last time. I do have a service that deals with room treatment. Okay, I am not the expert. What I do is I put together all your information, I submit it, right? There's a service charge for this. Basically, you sketch your own room. There will be a series of questions that you answer. Everything like room dimensions, how big is your couch, you measure that. How far are you from the speakers, you measure that. So you basically sketch your room, right? And you tell me with precision, with accuracy, the room dimensions, the ceiling height, the width, the depth, the space between your speakers, the size of the couch, the door on the right. You draw that up for me, right? You give me all those numbers. Then what I do is I grab that information. You also tell me like the is it concrete? Is it drywall? What is it, right? So you give me that information. You draw it up. There's a charge for this, right? So once you give me that and you pay for that, I submit it through Acoustics. Then Acoustics talks to me, comes back with questions if there's anything that's not clear, right? Then they put it through a machine, through a computer. That computer has the ability to know exactly where your problem areas are. It will tell you, hey, this person is seated at the wrong spot based on what he wrote here. He shouldn't be sitting there. He should be sitting 3 feet forward to actually even out certain frequencies. So then they go ahead and they come back with every single treatment, acoustic treatment. This is what you need to do. And they give you a beautiful drawing of the same room you turned in, okay, but it's a 3D image now, and that you can see all the panels already placed on your room. You can see every single thing, so that now you know what you need to order through Acoustics, through me, and you know exactly where they go. Like literally, the drawings are in front of your face. So all you have to do is call one of your friends or whoever, your spouse, and make it a weekend project. You got all the panels that they, told you to get. Now it's just with glue, measuring and gluing. Everything is glued. It takes you a few hours, a fun hobby, fun time, and then your room is done. And then you can see the frequency response, the before and the after. You can literally hear the difference. Okay. I've already done several rooms like this, in case you must know. So if you have any interest in that service, just shoot me an email, jaudiolab@gmail.com, or go to my website and you can ask a question through my website as well. If you have any interest in this service, I highly recommend it. Because if not, you're doing this blindfolded, not knowing what to do, where to put bass traps, where to put diffusers, where to put absorbers. You don't want to be guessing. You want the pros to do this, and that's who's going to look at your room and who's going to determine where you're placing everything based on your current state, based on your current furniture, based on everything you have right now. This is a good question. Consideration of opening my own brick and mortar store. This is a very good question, by the way. Right now, as it stands, no, because I have a job, like I said. Okay, so I could not work anymore if I had to dedicate time to a brick and mortar location. However, the future is unknown. I do not know what will happen in 2 years. I do not know what will happen in 4 years. I have no way of predicting that. What I can tell you is, if I ever decided to do this brick and mortar thing one day, okay, I cannot predict tomorrow. So I'm being very open and honest with you. If I ever decided to do this, okay, I don't think I could do that in the state of Florida, because in South Florida, we don't have a lot of real audiophiles. Okay. South Florida, we have a lot of people with money, but a lot of them are athletes. They are into cars, yachts, clubbing, the beach, fine dining, right? Nightlife. South Florida is primarily about that. The few audiophiles that exist are already with great stores that we have around the South Florida area, which are not many. So for me to open a brick and mortar location, let me explain to you how that movie is going to play out. Let's just say I did it. Let's just pretend it's 3 years from now. I opened it. Okay. I decided to say, let's open a brick and mortar location. This is how this plays. People will come in, sit here, listen to music, and go on the used market and buy it. That's what will happen. So for me to do that, first of all, you're talking about overhead expenses. You're talking about the building that you have to pay a lease on. You're talking about the electric. You're talking about maybe potentially at least one employee. If I don't have traction, if I don't have sales, I can't stay afloat. I'll start draining my own money to get absolutely no reward. So in Florida, at least South Florida, where I am, okay, West Palm Beach, maybe I dare to say, yeah, from West Palm Beach south, there's barely any audiophiles. Barely any audiophiles here that are serious, okay? And so if I did it, I probably would have to move out of here and go to maybe Nashville, Tennessee, where I know there is a huge crowd. People, there's many concerts there. It's the concert capital of the United States, as far as I know. I'm thinking maybe even Texas, the woodlands in Texas. I've been hearing a lot about the woodlands in Texas. I don't know. I'm speaking from what I've been told. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking about states where the cost of living is not crazy like it is in New York, California, and now even Florida. I've been thinking about North Carolina as well, believe it or not. I've been thinking about perhaps because I do have family in North Carolina. And another challenge is, moving my entire room in that direction, right? Hauling everything from here elsewhere, building a brand new room. So it's a huge investment. And so I have to land where I feel there would be movement, there would be clientele, there would be people who believe in what I do and who would come in, knock on my door and buy from me because, they trust, with what I do. They trust, you know, uh, everything that I've been through. They have seen my journey. They believe my years. So I have to be where there are buyers. Okay. That's the only way I would open up a brick and mortar location. In Florida, to be honest with you, I would be lying if I didn't tell you this. Most of the stuff that you see here in my channel, 98, 99%, when I've sold it, it's gone out of state. Okay. 98%. And this is used items. Think about that. Already with a deal, right? Already come discounted, right? 98% of what I have here, when I sell it, 98% of that goes out of state. Buyers are coming from out of state, not from here. Not from here. So it doesn't make any sense for me to think about opening a brick and mortar location in South Florida because I just don't believe that it will be rewarding for me. At the end of the day, most of the business probably would come from the internet. Okay. So that's what I think a lot of dealers are actually getting most of their business from anyway. But to open up a location, it to me it becomes a pain, and I prefer to move somewhere else where I could see people knowing, wow, Jay's Audio Lab is in town. He moved. Cool. We can meet the guy now. We can go to check out his room, buy from him. He can help us with this, with that. He's had everything. I would need to be in an environment like that for me to actually flourish. Keeping it real, keeping it 100% with you all. Lamb moved to Florida after the owner died. The lead designer, the guy who founded the company, passed away. They moved their production from New York to Florida. I understand that the daughter is in charge of the operation now. I know where they are. I have never been there. I've wanted to hear their products, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, I just haven't had the chance to do so. So maybe in the future, I can place a call and get down there to Miami, Florida. They're probably 50 minutes away from me, 50. And maybe we can just do a quick tour. Who knows? Maybe that's something that you all might find very interesting. So there's opportunity for that. I got to find new content to keep you all engaged. I think you guys love to see different things. And I want to switch it up too. I want to switch up my channel. I want to get out to factories. I want to get out to places that are interesting. For instance, I'll give you another example. I want to go to a guitar center. If you guys do not know, if you all are from overseas, guitar center is essentially where they sell a lot of like instruments, like for bands and such, like Class D amplifiers for horns or PA systems, drum sets, all of that, right? Guitars. I am thinking about making some sort of a video where I go to that store, walk through the door, and locate their Class D amplifiers. I believe Crown is one of them, Crown amplifiers, and buy the best Crown amplifier they have, whatever that may be, and just bringing it to the lab and document all of that, and put my best power cord on that Class D amplifier and see how it sounds with my XVXs, and just do something cool like that, because I think people want to see more stuff that's not typically done. How cool would it be to hear the XVXs with a Class D amplifier from Crown? It's just different. I'm not saying we're gonna love it, but why not? Why not switch it up? Why not make it entertaining? Just because, I mean, who else has done it? Nobody. So that's kind of how I want to start doing things with my channel. I want to leave my room occasionally to do things outside that are interesting, that keep you all entertained, coming back for more content that doesn't mirror anybody else's content. I have tried. No, I've never tried lamb. Monos. No, never tried them. Never tried them. I want to, but I haven't had the opportunity. Maybe if they meet me in person, they might let me have a pair of those monos and try them for free. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind trying them. Yeah. So yeah. So that's really, in a nutshell, everything that I have going on, folks. A lot of moving pieces on my channel, but I definitely want to tell you that I couldn't do this without your support. Every time I release a video, a like is absolutely the best thing you can do for me. Hitting that like button. That is the only thing I ask of you. You don't have to spend a dime. Let me go crazy and spend the money. The only thing to pay me back that you can do is hitting the like button on every video I release. That's it. That allows me to grow more. And the more I grow, guess what? The more leverage I have to get more product from different companies that you all might be interested in hearing and seeing and getting my take on. So you can empower me and make my channel grow even more by hitting that like button and subscribing. It is that important, okay, to the success of my journey and my channel and my brand. Just doing that. I'll do the rest. I'll do the lifting. I'll uncrate the 700-pound speakers and 400-pound block audio or Boulder amplifiers. I'll do all that work. All you got to do is hit that like button for me, and that's the best way to pay me back. I don't think that's too much to ask, right? That's all I ask. Simple. Okay, so there you have it. I appreciate your support today on this beautiful Sunday afternoon here in South Florida, wherever you are in the world. I hope you have a great evening, great afternoon, great rest of your week. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your help with all of my madness. And I could not do this. I could not do this without your support. Remember that. None of this means anything to me if you all are not on the other end of the screen. Okay, if you're not there tuning in to watch me, this means absolutely nothing for me. Never forget that. This means nothing for me if you all are not tuning in and liking my videos. It's all I can ask for, okay? Appreciate, Scott. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that. Thank you for that love from Sweden as well. Much appreciated. I would love to go to Sweden to someday. One of the places that I would love to go to and visit. But I do appreciate all the likes and just every great wish that is coming from you all. Okay, really means the world to me. All right, folks. Likewise, thank you again. I watch, I follow, I try to respond to as many comments as possible. And last but not least, there is a video that I shot yesterday or 2 days ago of an ultra high end home theater store here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The video is being edited as we speak. Do not miss this video. It is going to show you some incredible things from this location. Incredible home theater, amazing. Just a lot of things that you may not have seen from a home theater perspective. Okay, and I decided to incorporate it on my channel because my channel is about the ultra high end, and I think this theater is certainly in the ultra high end. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great, blessed day. Take care.